Top 5 Safest Cities to Live in the UK. What do the cities of Sheffield, Southampton, Edinburgh, Norwich and Newcastle all have in common? Almost everyone would mention that they're all cities in the United Kingdom, but there's a lot more than that about these cities. They're the top 5 safest cities to live in the UK. So let's shift our attention to the UK's safest cities. While moving to the UK, different people have many different yardsticks to determine where to live. Nevertheless, everyone will normally want to live in a city considered safe. Even then, the notion of the safety of a city can also be subjective. Depending on your background, lifestyle, family circumstance and preferences, the place you consider safe may be considered bland and boring by others. Regardless of the leanings, however, everyone will consider a place free of crime safe enough for them to live. Yet a lively city can also attract crime. That's where some measure of balance is needed. Putting all these into consideration, I've found the aforementioned 5 as the safest cities in the UK. So, when you're next moving to the UK, try to consider Edinburgh, Southampton, Sheffield, Norwich and Newcastle before you make your final decision. Here are my personal recommendations and reasons for choosing these 5. 1. Edinburgh. I guess you already knew that Edinburgh, Scotland's capital city, is a place renowned for its culture, festivals and heritage. It's also known for many of its city centre attractions and historic castle. In more recent times, Edinburgh has become home to the famous Harry Potter franchise's Diagon Alley film location. But we're more interested in its being dubbed one of the safest cities in GB due to its low crime rates. Edinburgh is perceived to be one of the safest, if not the safest city in the UK. Brits based on this view are able to move around, taking a walk around the city centre while exploring the World Heritage Sites. In a 49-page report once released to analyse residents' perception of crime in their neighbourhood, the vast majority of them believed that Edinburgh was a place to call home. The report shows that it's one of the safest cities in the UK. For instance, 81% of residents said they'd never been a victim of crime in the last year, and 79% said they've neither seen a crime committed or a victim of a violent crime. About 82% of Edinburgh residents say they don't feel threatened by any crime in their neighbourhoods. The report goes further to say that 92% of them are satisfied with Edinburgh and would not see any reason to leave soon. Compare this to 75% of Londoners that the report finds feel the same about London. Well, this is not to suggest that Edinburgh is completely free of crime. We have a few cases of burglary. This may or may not have been caused by the perception of the residents who often take security issues for granted. Thus, they don't invest heavily in security. For that reason, criminals may have free days when they strike on rare occasions, yet Edinburgh is one of the safest cities to live in the UK. 2. Southampton. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Southampton's on the list. After all, are southern parts of England not generally safe? Southampton, a city in the southeastern England, should enjoy the goodwill bestowed on it by its location. As a city and port in Hampshire in the southeast, its location on the southern coast of GB gives it access to plenty of peace. Meanwhile, it's about 70 miles southwest of London and 15 miles west of Portsmouth. If you knew these places, you'd know that the area is one of the best places to live in the UK, if you care about safety from crime. Southampton, like Edinburgh and other cities on this list, are home to many tourist attractions, which are dedicated to the remembrance of the Titanic. So, I consider it one of the safest places to live in the UK. We can't go far in the discussion of Southampton before mentioning its famous soccer team and bustling student life. This largest city in Hampshire County has a lot more than professional sports teams and 2 great centres of academic learning, though. They're not necessarily what brings Southampton among the top 5 safest cities. Cities like these can actually be noisy, but interestingly great for those who love liveliness and enthusiasm. However, when you're in nice neighbourhoods like Bassett, Bitterne, Eastleigh, Hedge End, Highfield and Polygon, and Portswood, you see a rare combination of economic prosperity and security. Here's another interesting thing. While there's crime everywhere, the crime rates in Southampton have always been lower generally than the country's national average. It's always remained low for long. 3. Sheffield. Let's talk about Sheffield, a city known for steel manufacturing in northern England. You're probably thinking already about when next you'll go there to get your cutleries. Can you also remember the River Sheaf from where the city derives its name? As the river runs through the city, you can imagine the tranquility the city enjoys. The 3rd largest English district is also one of the 8th largest regional cities that make up the core cities group. Am I right in adding Sheffield to the top list of the 5 cities safest in the UK? Well, yes. Because I'm not the only one having that feeling. Sheffield has consistently been voted as the friendliest and safest city in the UK. Thus, Steel City is an ideal place to raise a family, if you want to do so. You've got plenty of options for schooling if you're going there as a family. There are 131 primary schools and 26 secondary schools in the city. Let's give you a brief stat of a recent year, when 74,976 crimes were reported in Sheffield. Were they real crimes? Well, antisocial behaviour was the most common, 33,294 offences. Only about 13% of that total were violent crimes. Arson was just 9%. Others were petty theft and shoplifting. Yet these rates are lower than those of Derby, Gateshead, Bolton, Cardiff, Ipswich and Leeds. And with each successive year, the crime rate has been going down. 4. Norwich. Norwich is both a city in England and a county town of Norfolk. Located on the River Wensum, it's about 100 miles northeast of London. It's also the seat of the See of Norwich, the country's largest medieval cathedral. Norwich is claimed traditionally as the chief city of East Anglia, and this accords it some measure of respect as a safe city to live in the United Kingdom. Going the past and the current, and even the foreseeable future, Norwich has a good reason to be counted among the top 5 safest in the UK. Norwich has the title of being one of those safe cities, with a consistent record of low crime rates recorded. It's also a long history of low crime rates, and of being one of the safest places to live. Up until now, its open-air markets, which are among the oldest and largest in the country, are still the safest places to trade. The city's soccer team, Norwich City FC, is contributing to the safety of the town as well. The team is well ranked, and it plays its home matches near Norwich city centre. In a poll conducted among thousands of people in the cities across the UK, where they were told to rate how safe their hometown is, Norwich received one of the highest ratings. Out of a 10, which is the best possible score, Norwich got 8. 5. Newcastle. We now conclude with Newcastle, a metropolitan borough in England. Newcastle bears some semblance to London in many ways, including amazing tourist sites, corporate offices, great food, and traffic congestion. Yet there are stark differences between the two cities, manifesting in local diversity and safety. The crime statistics and the type of common crimes also separate both cities. The city's soccer team, Newcastle United Football Club, an English professional football club that plays in the Premier League, the top flight of English football, is loved by all. And that's the reason the residents of Newcastle leave no stone unturned to ensure that the venue and its areas of their favourite soccer team's home remain safe. Therefore, when compared to London's recent rate of theft and violent crime, Newcastle's crime rates are quite low. Perhaps Newcastle's small population of some 300,000 residents has some effect on keeping that rate so low. People in Great Britain are generally lucky or fortunate to live in a very safe society, so they can feel safe and live in peace and security wherever they choose to live. As you've now seen, however, some cities in the UK are apparently safer than others. The top 5 safest cities in the UK mentioned here should have shown you where people feel the safest. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell.